Greetings, folks, and thank you for joining me, Sister Girl V, here on A to Z Real Talk TV, where I share my version of local, global, and universal news. Now, today's video is titled Demonic Rats, and this is in regards to the Democrats and the political party in which most African Americans are sided with. However, I asked each and every one to do their research and see why they are Democrats, demonic rats, because these parties really have nothing to do with us as African American people. Neither one has really stood by us and helped us to gain our independence in America. However, our 400-year enslavement is up. That's going to be another topic. But just to let you know, Bloomberg is not your friend. He is making a mockery out of African Americans because he does not like us. It's amazing that we don't do our research on these people that we vote for. If you look at it when he was mayor, I don't know all the specifics. However, when he was mayor, he put in act the stop and search without a reason, without probable cause, or I guess that's what it is. But that was targeted to African Americans, males, where the police were allowed to just grab you and pat you down and search your persons without a real cause. So that's just one of the acts of his displaying his extreme dislike for African Americans, the lack of respect for us, because they know it's easy to fool and trick us into voting for them. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to show anything. Thus far, the Democratic Party has never shown us anything that has benefited us by being in office. So why we keep riding that train is beyond me. Again, Democrats, everybody says the first black president was Bill Clinton. Do your research, people. Do your research, because Bill Clinton is the one who put in place 3 strikes you're out and longer prison terms for different types of drugs, mostly the drugs that black people distributed. I'm not for drug sales, use, or anything of that nature. However, everything should be equal. If that's, we're in America, everything is supposed to be equal, but it is not. So just to let you know, these people do not like you, African Americans. Y'all need to leave that party alone. And it's almost as if they're asking us to vote for the lesser of two evils, because neither one of them has our best interests at heart. Although I'm not a political person, I must say that Donald Trump, as much as African Americans hate him, and again, I ask you to do your research and give yourself a questionnaire as to why. What has he done to you? We're riding these trains again. They have us so trained. They say one key word. We're on the bandwagon, supporting one or the other, or disliking one for whatever reason they stated on the news. So I ask African Americans to please do your research on why you do what you do. If you're going to vote for a specific party, know why you're doing it. Have something to back it up. But I must tell you again, the demonic rats do not have your back. As we speak, their backs are being pushed into a corner because they're losing a huge race, and I'll discuss that in another video. But they have run the country for several years, and they're losing their stronghold on it. So as they lose, they get angry and angry, and it's like pushing a rat into a corner. They're going to come out with all of their goodies, all their arsenal, to try and stay afloat. So at the present moment, they are scrambling because they're losing their stronghold, and so they're going to do a lot more horrible things than they've already done. So do your research, and don't let the news, your preachers and teachers, persuade your thought process, your thinking, or your decision making, because they are not experts at it. In fact, most churches, all churches, are tax exempt because they're not allowed to discuss political issues within their church. So they get to make a lot more money if they don't try and persuade their people one way or the other. So, the schools don't really touch on political parties. They may give a brief description as to what one or the other does. However, it's not enough for us to indulge in a game that we don't know how to play. It's like betting money to win a chess game and you don't even know how to play it. So, and it's an intricate game, and there's a lot of different maneuvers and moves that could be made. So you have to be on top of things in order to indulge in the game. The same way with the politics, tricks. That's what it is. They're tricking you. They're tricking you into thinking that, your vote is making a difference. It really does not. Beyond like a local level, they've already pre-selected an elected president. Nobody's getting in office based on votes alone. So just so we know this. But please watch my other videos because I got a lot of different topics to discuss. But this one is, do your research in reference to your so-called political party, because I'm going to tell you right now, really, African Americans, you don't belong to either one. According to the Constitution, you still are not considered a full human being. Therefore, you're not really included in this game that they play, this battle that they beat each other over the heads about. So please, if you cannot remove yourself from these tricks, do your due diligent research to see why you're thinking one way or the other. But again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this content. Like, share, subscribe. Feel free to comment. I love comments. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, nor am I trying to convince anyone of anything. However, we as African Americans have been played so much, and it's like now it's time for us to stop and be wise with our decisions and our contributions. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one.